My sister stole every dollar of my 3 years of savings. My mom defended her and kicked me out, so I made sure neither of them ever forgot that decision. The account balance was zero. Not low. Not overdrawn by a small amount that could be explained by a forgotten subscription or a miscalculated bill. Zero. The specific complete zero of an account that has been emptied deliberately, the particular number that does not happen by accident, and does not happen slowly and does not leave room for any interpretation except the one that is true. 3 years. I had been saving for 3 years. The specific 3 years of someone who works 2 jobs and packs lunch every day and does not buy the thing they want because the thing they are building toward matters more than the thing they want right now. The 3 years of a 24-year-old who grew up without money and understood early that the only way out of that specific geography was to build the exit yourself, one saved dollar at a time. $14,030. Gone. I stood in the parking lot of the grocery store where I worked the early shift, and I looked at my phone and I looked at the number and I felt the particular physical sensation of something dropping through the floor of your chest, the specific falling of someone who has just understood that the ground they were standing on was not ground. My sister Petra's name was on my account. That is the specific detail I have to explain before anything else makes sense. Petra was 22. 2 years younger than me. She had been added to my account 18 months ago when our mother had asked me, with the particular asking of someone who already knows the answer they expect, to help Petra manage her finances. To model good habits. To give her access so she could deposit her paychecks and learn to watch a balance grow. Our mother's name was Lorraine. I had said yes because Lorraine asked and because Petra was my sister and because I believed, with the specific naive belief of someone who has not yet learned that certain people are not safe with certain things, that family is the category of person you can trust with access. 18 months of access. And Petra had waited. Not taken small amounts over time that might have been noticed and stopped. Waited. The specific patient waiting of someone who has a plan and is implementing it at the moment of maximum impact, who has watched the balance grow for 18 months and has chosen the specific morning when I was at the early shift and the amount was at its highest and has emptied it completely. $14,030. In a single transfer. To an account I did not recognize. Petra's phone rang 4 times and went to voicemail. The specific 4 rings of someone who has seen the name on the screen and has made the decision not to answer. I called again. Voicemail. I drove home. Our mother's house, which was the specific house I had lived in for 24 years, the house I paid rent to live in, the house that I had been contributing to since I was 19 because Lorraine's income had never been enough and not enough had always found its way to my door. Petra's car was in the driveway. I walked in. Petra was in the kitchen. She was standing at the counter with her back to me, pouring coffee with the particular ease of someone who has done a thing and has decided in advance that the ease is the posture they are going to maintain when the thing catches up with them. She heard me come in. She turned around. Her face did something complicated. Not guilt. The specific complicated expression of someone who has prepared for this moment, and is now in it and is finding the preparation only partially adequate. Where is it? My voice came out quieter than I expected. She set the coffee cup down. Gwen. Where is my money, Petra? She looked at the counter. I needed it. Her voice had the specific quality of someone who has decided that explanation is the available defense and is deploying it immediately. I was in a situation and I needed it and I was going to pay it back. $14,000. The number placed in the room between us like something physical. You took $14,000. I'm going to pay it back. When? One word. Landing hard. Tell me specifically when. She looked at the counter again. She did not have a when. She had never had a when. The when had not been part of the plan because the plan had not included paying it back and we both knew it and the knowing was in the room and she was looking at the counter because the counter was the only place in the room that did not contain my face. I heard Lorraine's door open down the hall. Our mother appeared in the kitchen doorway. She was still in her robe. She looked at me and then at Petra and then at the specific quality of the room and she understood immediately that she had come in at the middle of something that had a before she was not present for. What's going on? Lorraine's voice had the particular careful quality of someone assessing a situation before choosing a position. Petra emptied my savings account. My voice completely even. $14,000. This morning while I was at work. Lorraine looked at Petra. Petra looked at Lorraine. Something passed between them in that look. Something that had the specific quality of a thing that has been discussed before, that has an existing architecture between two people that predates the moment it is being witnessed. And I understood, in the specific cold clarity of that understanding, that Lorraine had known. Not the full amount, maybe. Not the specific morning. But the shape of what Petra was going to do, the particular direction things were moving, the general geography of what her younger daughter was planning with access to her older daughter's account. Lorraine had known. Petra says she's going to pay it back. The sentence of someone who has chosen a position and is standing in it. She took $14,000. My voice completely even. 3 years of savings. Everything I had. She's going through a difficult time. I'm going through a difficult time. The even voice holding. Right now. In this kitchen. I'm the person going through a difficult time. Lorraine pulled her robe tighter. There's no need to raise your voice. I have not raised my voice. Your tone. Lorraine. Her name. Not Mom. The specific choice of a name over a title when the title no longer fits the behavior. Your daughter stole $14,000 from me. I need to understand what is going to happen now. Lorraine looked at Petra. Petra was looking at the counter. She's your sister. Lorraine's voice carrying the specific weight of someone using a category as a weapon. Family works these things out. Family doesn't steal $14,000. Gwen, you're being dramatic. Dramatic. The word landing in the room with the particular weight of something that has been said before, many times, in this kitchen, by this woman, every time the thing being named was real and the naming was treated as the problem. I am being dramatic. You have a job. You can save again. 3 years. My eyes stayed on Lorraine's face. 3 years of 2 jobs and packed lunches and not buying things I wanted because I was building something. And you are standing in your kitchen telling me I can just do it again. Lorraine's jaw moved. I think you need to calm down. I am calm. The specific calm of someone who has passed through the emotion into the particular clear cold place beyond it. I am completely calm. I am asking you, as my mother, what is going to happen about the $14,000 your daughter took from me? Lorraine looked at Petra again. Petra had still not looked up from the counter. She'll pay you back when she can. Lorraine's voice going firm now. These things take time. I looked at my mother. At the specific expression on her face, the particular set of her jaw and the way her eyes were not meeting mine and the robe pulled tight, and the specific posture of someone who has made a decision and is holding it regardless of what arrives next. You knew. My voice very quiet. Lorraine's eyes moved to the window. I don't know what you mean. You knew she was going to do this. That's a serious accusation. Look at me. Still quiet. Still the particular calm of the other side. Look at me and tell me you didn't know. Lorraine looked at the window. Not at me. At the window. The specific refusal of someone who cannot say the thing and cannot say the opposite of the thing and has chosen the window as the third available option. And then Lorraine smiled. Small. Quick. Directed at Petra, not at me. The specific small smile of a mother communicating to one daughter that the other daughter was going to be managed, that the situation was going to be absorbed, that the morning was going to be survived. I saw it. Petra saw it. The smile was not meant for me. But I saw it. I need you to leave. Lorraine's voice had gone tight. Go to your room and calm down and we will discuss this later. I pay rent in this house. And I own this house. Lorraine turned from the window. Her eyes on mine now. And right now I am asking you to go to your room. No. Lorraine blinked. The specific blink of someone who has not received that answer before from this person in this kitchen. Excuse me. I'm not going to my room. My voice stayed level. I'm 24 years old and I pay rent in this house and your daughter stole $14,000 from me and I am not going to my room like I am 7 years old and have done something wrong. Lorraine pulled her robe tighter. Then maybe you should find somewhere else to live. Her voice had gone cold. The specific cold of someone who has said a thing and is surprised it came out and is not going to take it back. Is that what you want? Lorraine looked at Petra. Petra was looking at the counter. I think it would be best. Lorraine's voice flat now. Until things settle down. Until things settle down. The specific language of someone who is removing the person with a legitimate complaint from the room and calling it a cooling off period. I looked at my mother one more time. At the specific face of a woman who had just told her daughter to leave because her other daughter had stolen everything and the leaving was the available solution and the smile had already communicated which side she was on. I want you both to remember this morning. My voice completely even. Specifically. The account number. The amount. This conversation. The smile. I paused. Remember all of it clearly. Lorraine's eyes moved. Petra's hands went still on the counter. I walked to my room. I packed what mattered in 2 bags. I walked through the kitchen on my way out. Neither of them looked at me. The door closed behind me. The specific sound of a door that is closing on something permanently even when the person closing it does not yet know the full shape of the permanent. I drove to my friend Adelaide's apartment and I sat on her couch and I told her everything. When I finished, she looked at me with the specific expression of someone who has heard something and is deciding what it means. "What are you going to do?" Her voice careful. "Waiting." The particular clear cold of the other side of the emotion sitting in my chest like something solid. Everything that is available to me. The first thing I did was file a police report. 3 days after I left. 3 days of Adelaide's couch and Adelaide's kitchen and the particular focus thinking of someone who is building something from the examined place rather than the reactive one. The officer who took the report was a woman named Harriet who had the specific no-nonsense quality of someone who has heard many things and does not perform surprise at any of them. I showed her the transfer record. The account number. The timestamp. The amount. She looked at it carefully. "She was on your account." Harriet's pen moving across the form. "Yes." "Authorized access?" "Yes." Harriet looked at the transfer record again. "Authorized signatories have legal access. But the transfer amount and the single transaction pattern gives us something to work with." She looked up. "Do you want to proceed?" "Yes." She filed the report. The second thing I did was call the bank. The FRUD investigator's name was Edmund. Edmund was thorough. He asked specific questions and I had specific answers because I had spent 3 days organizing everything into the particular order that produces specific answers to specific questions. Edmund opened an investigation. The third thing I did was contact a lawyer. She reviewed everything. The transfer record. The police report. The account history showing 18 months of Petra's access and a single devastating withdrawal. The authorized signatory status makes criminal prosecution complicated. Her voice had the specific calm of someone who has assessed many situations and is giving an honest reading of this one. But civil recovery is a strong case. The transfer pattern, the amount, the fact that she had no legitimate reason to move that sum. We have a clear path. How long? Civil cases move slowly. But we can file for a judgment and garnish wages once we have it. File. She filed. The fourth thing I did was call Lorraine. Not to argue. Not to revisit the kitchen. I called on a Thursday evening and told her, in the specific calm voice of the other side of the emotion, exactly what I had done. The police report. The bank FRUD investigation. The civil lawsuit. The line went completely silent for a long moment. "You called the police on your sister." Lorraine's voice arriving fragmented. Like the sentence had broken apart somewhere between her mouth and the phone. "Petra stole $14,000? Yes. She's family. You said that already." My voice stayed even. "In the kitchen. You said family works these things out. And then you told me to leave. So I left. And I worked it out. Gwen, if you do this, it's done." The words landing cleanly. "I'm not calling to ask permission. I'm calling because you are my mother and you should know what is happening. You will destroy her life." She made choices. The even voice holding. Every choice has a shape. This is the shape of hers. "And what about my life?" Lorraine's voice had shifted. Gone somewhere between anger and something older and more exposed. "What about what this does to me? To this family?" I sat with that for a moment. The specific question of a woman asking about herself in the middle of a conversation about what her daughter did to me. I packed 2 bags. My voice very quiet now. And I left. That was the morning's accounting. Everything after that is the accounting of the choices made in that kitchen. "I want you to come home." Finally. The specific sentence of someone who has understood that the situation has moved beyond the kitchen and is trying to locate a way to bring it back. I don't live there anymore. I looked at Adelaide's window. At the city outside it. You told me to find somewhere else to live. I found somewhere else. I didn't mean. Lorraine. Her name again. The title still withheld. I have a police report and a civil case and a FRUD investigation and a lawyer. The next conversation you and I have about this will be through her. I ended the call. Adelaide brought tea from the kitchen and sat across from me and did not ask anything because she understood that certain phone calls require the particular quiet of someone sitting nearby rather than the noise of questions. The civil case took 11 months. 11 months of documents and filings and the particular slow machinery of a legal process that does not move at the speed of the injury but moves, which is the specific thing that matters when the alternative is not moving at all. Petra did not get a lawyer for the first 4 months. When she finally did, The lawyer looked at the case and told her that the transfer record and the FRUD investigation, and the police report and the account history had built something very difficult to argue against. Month 5, Petra's voicemail landed on my phone. 3 minutes long. She was sorry. She had been in a situation she felt she could not get out of. She had told herself she would pay it back. She understood now that the telling herself had been the lie she needed to do the thing. I listened to it twice. Then I called my lawyer. She left a voicemail. Don't respond directly. Let the process do what the process does. The process did what the process does. Month 9, judgment in my favor. Full amount plus legal costs plus interest. $14,000 became $17,400. Month 11, first garnishment. Petra's wages. A percentage every month until the judgment was satisfied. I was not present for any of it. I was at work. The early shift and the evening shift in the particular focused life of someone who is rebuilding from zero with the specific knowledge that they have done it before and can do it again, and this time the account has one name on it. Lorraine called when the judgment came through. Her voice had the specific strained quality of someone who has been living inside consequences they did not anticipate for 11 months. The garnishment starts next month. Yes. She can barely cover her rent. She should have thought about that before the transfer. Gwen. Lorraine's voice CR'd slightly. The specific CRCK of someone who has been holding something for 11 months and is finding the holding increasingly difficult. I made mistakes. In the kitchen that morning. I know that. I sat with that. The acknowledgement that had not come in the kitchen. Arriving 11 months later through a CR'd voice. Yes. Quietly. You did. I want to fix it. Her voice smaller now. Between us. Tell me what fixing it looks like to you. She was quiet. I don't know yet. Honestly. The specific honesty of someone who has arrived at a true thing and is not going to dress it up. That's okay. I looked at the window of my own apartment now. Not Adelaide's anymore. Mine. When you know, call me. Are you ever coming home? Very quietly. I thought about the 2 bags. About Adelaide's couch and the lawyer's office and 11 months of early shifts and the account with one name on it growing slowly back toward something. I am home. My voice completely even. I have been home for 11 months. She was quiet for a long time. Then she said the thing I had been waiting 11 months to hear her say. I smiled. Her voice barely above a breath. In the kitchen. When you were talking. I smiled at Petra and you saw it. The specific moment. Named by the person who made it. 11 months later. Yes. My voice very quiet. I saw it. I'm sorry. 2 words. Carrying everything the 11 months had produced in her. I am truly sorry. I know. We talked for 40 minutes. Not resolution. The specific beginning of something that does not have a shape yet and knows it does not have a shape yet and is not pretending otherwise. She asked about my apartment. She asked about my work. She asked about Adelaide. I answered. At the end, can I call you next week? Yes. You can call me next week. Petra's garnishment ran for 19 months. In month 14 her name appeared on my phone. This time I answered. Her voice had the specific quality of someone who has been living inside consequences for 14 months and has arrived at the particular understanding that consequences are not abstract and do not resolve themselves. I'm sorry. Not the 3-minute voicemail sorry. 2 words. Placed in the space between us without architecture around them. I know. I didn't think. I know. I told myself a lot of things. Her voice very quiet. None of them were true. No. A pause. They weren't. Are you ever going to? She stopped. Going to what? Trust me again. Barely above a breath. I sat with that question. The specific honest question of someone who has spent 14 months understanding that trust is not a thing you are owed and is not restored by apology, is not available on a timeline you set. I don't know yet. The honest answer. That's all I have right now. Okay. 1 word. Accepting what was available. We are not where we were. I want to be accurate about that because accuracy is the only thing that serves this kind of story. Lorraine calls on Sundays. Petra sends messages sometimes. Short ones. The particular short messages of someone who is learning to communicate in the specific register of someone who has lost the easy familiarity that trust provides and is rebuilding from the available materials. My account has a number in it again. One name on it. Mine. The specific complete mine of something built the second time by someone who knows exactly what it costs and exactly what it is worth and exactly who is safe to put their name next to it. Nobody. Just mine. Here is what I want to say to everyone who has been smiled at while being wronged. The smile is information. Not a wound. Information. The specific data of someone showing you, without meaning to, exactly where they stand when the standing requires choosing. Take the information. File the report. Call the lawyer. Do the slow, thorough work of someone who is building from the examined place rather than the reactive one. And when they call 11 months later with a sea-arched voice asking if you are ever coming home, tell them the truth. You are already home. You built it. While they were smiling.